Now this will be on fortunes, good fortunes and bad fortunes. I prefer to approach fortunes as a clustering of good decisions and judgments in certain circumstances over years that procure good results. Likewise, bad fortunes are made by bad decisions, bad judgments in unforgiving circumstances. It is always a mix, and life, as we know, is full of perturbations. So, what is the difference between a circumstantial misfortune if you are born into, for example, pathological family? Or bad decisions that you make some bad decisions about, for example, drugs or alcohol, mixing with the wrong people. And there's a difference between criminal stupidity, meaning engaging in destructive actions and passions and ruining your own fortune, and the ill will of others or the other side or whomsoever that destroys your fortunes that could be otherwise. Now, as I mentioned, good fortunes, bad fortunes, they mix. Even if we make perfect decisions, good judgments, decision, value making, then in shitty circumstances we will fail, and the effect will be that we will be destitute or in a bad situation. Likewise, if we have perfect circumstances but we make bad decisions, we may effectuate in good fortunes, so on and so on. Now, that is in the natural stand of events. However, what if you make a decision between this stance and easy living within good or bad fortunes? You can select easy living, or you can make a conscious decision to assume a heroic stance, a noble stance, something that may demolish your good fortunes with other decisions. Now, a good and bad decision has nothing to do with heroic stances. The heroic stance is the arete, the value-driven stance that results in certain metaphysical affinities. And the heroic stance is always a path of conflict, of gigantomachia, of combat and battle, within or without. Now, the heroic stance is at odds with good fortunes, and to some it is of higher priority than good fortunes, for example, wealth, status, career, family, and so on and so on. Now, you may have both at certain points in time, but it is very difficult. You may have a career, you may be friends to God, you may thrive, you may be a perfectly rectitious man, a person who is full of rectitude, perseverant and all that, but it is very difficult. Most of the time, the world is upside down. So whenever we end in life, the Boetian wheel of fortunes, whether we are kings or beggars, if we pick the heroic stance, it is the metaphysical strife that finds affinity with the gods, with goddesses, with providence. And let us invert the Judeo-Christian idea that the last shall be the first, because they won't. Usually people that are destitute, deprived, and end up in suffering and pain, after they drop dead, unfortunately their shadows are vengeful, wrathful, and they want to execute their justice to whatever means on the society that destroyed them. That is their justice. That is the justice of the dead. Some Christian morons call them the devils, but they are just humans that were turned into vengeful, wrathful spirits, shadow souls. Now, inverting that, the last in the eyes of the gods of the metaphysical realms, don't mix it with the Jewish God, the gods as in the, for example, 12 zodiacal gods of Greece and Rome, for example, as ontological instances, that the first in rank in a heroic strife are recognized as the first. That is, meaning that there is a key and a coordinate. And it doesn't mean that there is a god or a goddess hanging on a cloud telling you, hey, you were a hero, come join us. No, it doesn't work that way. It means that you fulfilled certain prerequisites that are quite objective in dynamic laws of magic in life and more in depth, kaleidoscopic rules of it all. So there are laws, metaphysical laws of arete, of nobility, of heroic strife, but they are not universal. I don't play universalist here. They are based on individuation, maturity, responsibility, and so on and so on. and that is the path of homoiosis theo, rendering, building yourself up, and theon ergon, the work of the gods, the powers, the forces walk on you so that you may heroize yourself. Now, I made this little speech because recently I encountered an awkward situation in which I lost my phone. And I found some other guy holding a similar phone, so I approached him and saying, "Hey, I lost the phone. Maybe you have it." And he took me for a thief, thinking that I'm some kind of a person trying to dispossess him of his property, his phone. And funny thing is that he was like some kind of a chav. Now, between me and that chav, from the outside, there is absolutely no difference. A rich chav and a person who committed his life to theology, philosophy, magic, the gods, and building himself up. No difference to the society. I'm a black shirted stinker, smoking cigarettes and all that. So, what is the difference between me and the criminal stupidity of another? In the eyes of the society, we are precarious. We are the same. Well, I find that my heroic strife and my ability to overcome plenty of adversities in life and confront them to build myself up is somewhat different from this criminally foolish person who happened to take me for a thief. So that is so. And I wish you every good fortune and good decisions. But that is up to you, to your wisdom, to your discernment, and to your ability to navigate through the meanders of existence. Thank you.